Imagine this. Your heart pounds like a war drum. Your mouth goes desert dry. That familiar knot of dread tightens in your stomach as the music starts. You've felt this terror before. The paralyzing fear of judgment. The crushing certainty that everyone is watching, waiting for you to fail. Maybe you've spent decades convincing yourself it doesn't matter, that dancing is for other people. But deep down, when no one's looking, you still catch yourself secretly tapping your foot when a good song comes on. You still watch dancers in movies with a mixture of wonder and painful longing. I wish I could do that, you think, before quickly burying the thought under an avalanche of self-doubt. You're not alone in this dance of denial. Let's break these chains together. Today, we're overcoming the most common fears seniors have about public dancing. When you recognize yours, drop it in the comments. Don't be shy, we're all friends here. See you down there. Section 1. Fears rooted in ageism. Fear of being ridiculed often sounds in your head like, people will laugh at me, not with me. This fear stems from our primitive brain's survival mechanism. Psychologically, the fear of mockery activates the same neural pathways as physical threats, triggering our fight-or-flight response. Our brains evolved to avoid social rejection because, historically, being cast out from the group meant certain death. For seniors, this fear often intensifies because society has conditioned us to believe that certain activities belong to the young. This creates a cognitive dissonance when we desire to engage in those activities ourselves, making us doubt our rightful place on the dance floor. Remember when you learned to ride a bike? Everyone wobbles at first. Dancing works the same way. Think of it like trying a new recipe. The first attempt might not be perfect, but nobody throws away the cookbook. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you anyway. When you're about to go dance but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. Their laughter has no power over my joy. I dance for myself, not for their approval. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of being seen as too old to dance often sounds in your head like, they'll think I'm desperate or foolish for trying. This fear reflects internalized ageism, negative stereotypes about aging that we've unconsciously absorbed throughout our lives. Psychologists call this stereotype embodiment theory, where we begin to believe and act according to negative age stereotypes without realizing it. The anxiety about appearing desperate reveals how we've been taught to view aging as a time of dignified withdrawal rather than continued growth and expression. This creates a false dichotomy between dignity and joy that has no basis in human development, but persists as a social construct. Age is just a number on your driver's license, not a dancing permit that expires. Like a fine wine, some things get better with age, including the freedom to express yourself. Would you call a 65-year-old tree too old to sway in the breeze? When you're about to go dance but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. My age is my strength, not my limitation. With each year, I've earned the right to express myself more freely. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of being patronized often sounds in your head like, they won't take me seriously. They'll say it's cute or sweet, like I'm a child. This fear reveals the psychological impact of elder speak, the condescending tone often used toward older adults. Research shows that being spoken to in this manner can trigger feelings of helplessness and incompetence, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where seniors may begin to doubt their own capabilities. This anxiety also connects to our fundamental need for respect and dignity. Developmental psychologist Erik Erikson identified integrity versus despair as the final life stage, where maintaining our sense of identity and being recognized as complete human beings becomes crucial to our psychological well-being. When people say, "How sweet," about your dancing, they're often expressing genuine admiration. It's like when someone compliments your garden. They're not patronizing the flowers, they're appreciating their beauty. When you're about to go dance but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. I dance with the dignity of my full years. My movements command respect, not condescension. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Section 2. Woman dancing fears around style and self-expression. Fear of being labeled inappropriate often sounds in your head like, if I dance with flair or sensuality, Will they think I've lost my dignity? This fear reflects our culture's uncomfortable relationship with aging and sexuality. Psychologically, we're confronting the double standard of aging, where older adults, especially women, are expected to become increasingly asexual and reserved in their self-expression. Neuroscience shows us that our need for physical expression and sensual pleasure doesn't diminish with age. In fact, dance activates the brain's reward pathways regardless of age, releasing dopamine and endorphins that are crucial for mental health. Denying this natural form of expression contradicts our neurological makeup. Dignity isn't about staying still, it's about honoring who you are. Think of a river. It can be calm and serene, or it can rush and splash, but it's always the same river, always dignified in its natural flow. When you're about to go dance but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. My body's expression belongs to me alone. I define what dignity means in my dance. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of breaking unspoken rules of old age often sounds in your head like, am I violating some silent code by being too visible, too alive? This fear illuminates what sociologists call age norms, unwritten rules about how people should behave at different life stages. These norms become internalized as age schemas that unconsciously guide our behavior and create anxiety when we consider stepping outside them. From a psychological perspective, challenging these norms requires cognitive flexibility, the ability to question automatic assumptions. Studies show that such flexibility actually improves with age, making seniors well-equipped to challenge these restrictive social constructs, even though doing so can trigger initial discomfort. Those rules are like old, uncomfortable shoes. They might seem familiar, but they're hurting you. Kick them off. The only real rule of aging is to keep living fully, like a garden that blooms every season. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. I create new rules with every step I take. There is no rule book for how to be vibrantly alive. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Section 3 Hospital Fears based on physical and social fragility. Fear of hurting oneself and being blamed for it often sounds in your head like, if I fall, they'll say, I told you so, and use it to limit my freedom. This fear reflects what psychologists call learned helplessness, a condition where we believe we have no control over outcomes, leading to passivity. For seniors, this often develops after experiences where natural aging processes have been treated as personal failings rather than normal life transitions. The fear of blame also reveals our awareness of how society tends to pathologize aging, treating normal changes as problems to be managed rather than aspects of a continuing life journey. This societal attitude creates heightened anxiety around physical vulnerability that can become self-reinforcing. Start where you are. Dancing can be as simple as swaying while seated. It's like adjusting the seasoning in food. You can always add more spice as you go. Besides, staying active actually reduces your fall risk over time. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. I honor my body's wisdom by moving it joyfully. I trust myself to know my own boundaries. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of being a burden often sounds in your head like, what if people feel responsible for helping me if something goes wrong? This fear stems from what psychologists identify as generativity versus stagnation, the life stage where we're concerned with contributing to others rather than requiring care. The prospect of role reversal can threaten our sense of identity and purpose. Studies show that this fear often outweighs actual concerns from family members, who typically want their older relatives to remain active and engaged. The disconnect between our perception and reality creates unnecessary self-limitation and can lead to deteriorating physical capabilities through inactivity. Taking care of your joy is never a burden. It's like keeping your car in good running condition. Regular maintenance, like dancing, prevents bigger problems down the road. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. My joy lightens everyone's load. My dancing creates energy. It doesn't deplete it. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of being forced into passivity often sounds in your head like, they'll say I shouldn't dance at all, and use it to push me into more restrictions. This fear reflects awareness of the slippery slope phenomenon in how society treats aging. Research shows that once an older adult is perceived as fragile in one area, restrictions often multiply across various aspects of life, sometimes unnecessarily. Psychologically, this connects to our fundamental need for autonomy. Self-determination theory identifies autonomy as a basic psychological need throughout the lifespan. When this need is threatened, it can trigger resistance behaviors or, conversely, resignation and depression. The less you move, the less you'll be able to move tomorrow. Dancing is like keeping your keys to freedom. The more you use them, the smoother the lock turns. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. Every dance step I take claims my right to movement. My active choice today secures my freedom tomorrow. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Section 4 Brain Fears of Judgment from Family and Community. Fear of embarrassing family members often sounds in your head like, will my children or grandchildren feel ashamed of me being so unusual? This fear reflects the concept of familial role expectations, the unspoken scripts we're expected to follow within family structures. Developmentally, many seniors were raised in eras where intergenerational relationships were more hierarchical and formal, creating anxiety around breaking these established patterns. Research in family systems theory shows that family members often unconsciously resist changes in established roles, even positive ones. This resistance can create anticipatory anxiety in seniors considering behavior changes, regardless of whether family members would actually disapprove. Most young people are secretly thrilled when their older relatives show spunk. It's like seeing a surprise firework, unexpected but delightful. Your joy gives them permission to age without fear themselves. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. My courage to dance lights the path for generations to come. My family's true embarrassment would be my unlived life. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of gossip or criticism in conservative circles often sounds in your head like, what if the neighbors or church groups say I'm behaving indecently? This fear highlights the psychological concept of reference groups, the social circles whose opinions we value and use to gauge appropriate behavior. For many seniors, religious and community groups have been central to identity formation throughout life, making their potential disapproval particularly threatening. Social psychologists note that conformity pressure increases in tight-knit communities, creating stronger anxiety around behaviors that might be seen as deviant. This pressure often operates through subtle social mechanisms rather than direct confrontation, making it particularly difficult to challenge. What's truly indecent is letting others' opinions cage your spirit. Think of birds singing. None ever worries if its song is proper enough. The world needs your unique music. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. Let them talk while I dance. Their whispers fade. My joy remains. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Section 5 Dove. Deeper existential fears. Fear of being too alive in a world that expects decline often sounds in your head like, does my joy make people uncomfortable because they've given up on joy themselves? This fear touches on the concept of mortality salience, our awareness of eventual death and its influence on our behavior. Psychologically, seeing vibrant older adults challenges younger people's unconscious coping mechanism of distancing themselves from aging, which can sometimes trigger negative reactions. Existential psychologists note that authentic living, especially in later years, often requires courage to challenge social expectations. This courage isn't about recklessness, but about what philosopher Paul Tillich called the courage to be, embracing life despite its inherent anxieties and limitations. Your aliveness is like a porch light in the neighborhood. It doesn't diminish others' homes, but might inspire them to turn on their own lights. Your joy is contagious, not offensive. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. My aliveness is not an accusation but an invitation. I dance as a lighthouse for others searching for shore. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Fear of outshining younger generations often sounds in your head like, what if I'm more alive than them, and they resent it? This fear reflects what psychologists call generational competition anxiety, the concern that by thriving in later years, we somehow diminish younger generations' opportunities or experiences. This anxiety often stems from cultural narratives that frame resources and attention as scarce commodities. Research in positive psychology shows that cross-generational inspiration actually works in both directions, creating what researchers call virtuous cycles of growth and learning. Far from creating resentment, older adults who embrace life fully often become important role models for authentic living across age groups. When you're about to go dancing but feel afraid, try using this phrase prayer for self-soothing. My light doesn't dim others. It illuminates the dance floor for everyone. There is glory enough for all ages. Repeat this phrase to gently talk yourself through the fear. Life isn't a candle where one flame dims another. It's more like a community bonfire. Your bright spark helps everyone see better. When you dance, you don't steal the spotlight. You expand it. Remember, dancing isn't about performance. It's about presence. Like breathing, it belongs to everyone. Your body remembers how to move, even if your mind has forgotten. So turn up the music, close your eyes if you need to, and let yourself sway. The hardest step is always the first one. If this message has touched your heart, don't miss another breakthrough moment. Hit subscribe now for daily videos that crush the chains of fear holding you back. On this channel we share practical tips, inspirational stories, and gentle reminders. Join our community of wise souls. Turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to reclaim your joy.